Now, if you see the electoral politics, maybe for past 2 decades or more than 2 decades,
Hmm.
particularly in the post-liberalization phase, we have seen electoral cycles. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
electoral cycles both at the national level and also at the state level.
Okay.
What do I mean by electoral cycles is this: if one party is coming to power, either
Hmm.
in a state, one party or an alliance is coming to a power, either in a state or at
Hmm.
the center,
Hmm.
they're continuing for minimum to 10 years.
Okay.
If you see that the central government level,
Hmm. Hmm.
particularly in
Hmm.
the post 2004
Hmm.
period,
Hmm.
or at the state level, look at any state. For
Hmm.
example, look at except for Kerala, which was it, but this time Kerala also repeated it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the electoral cycles where the incumbent government has been continuing for more than one tenure, in
Hmm.
some cases more than 2 10 years, and so on and so forth. And this
Hmm.
has happened. One of the important factors is the competitive populist policies. Now the
Hmm.
electoral politics have become very, very competitive, and if the party in power is there both at the state and the central level, then they have the added advantages.
Hmm.
But that is not necessary, because in case of Trinamool and in case of Biju Janata Dal,
Hmm.
also in case of Kerala, they didn't have their parties were not at center, but they are succeeding it.
Hmm.
So the factor that I have mentioned is that the competitive populist policies have advantages. And
Hmm.
in case of Assam,
Hmm.
both during Tarun Gogoi's government and also during the BJP-led government, Himanta Biswa played a very, very important role in terms of defining the populist policies.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
he has that advantage. So this is one general factor I am telling,
Hmm.
that BJP has been doing good in Northeast India and not in many other parts, because in Northeast India this is new for BJP,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they have not been power earlier for
Hmm.
quite a long time, even though earlier also in NDA alliance some components were there, but then for the first time NDA or BJP is in power,
Hmm.
or they have stabilized and consolidated themselves here.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think this is also part of the dynamics of the electoral alliances
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
is helping BJP
Okay.
to consolidate and ride through these competitive populist policies. This is one.
Hmm.
But then there are specificities, and that needs to be kept in mind.
Okay.
Now, in case of Assam, I see a lot of factors.
Okay.
One is this, that you have to make a difference between BJP and Congress. In case of Congress, what happens? It is basically the candidate. It is basically the candidate whose charisma, whose hard work, whose commitment and contact with the people brings the victory. Look at
Hmm.
Sushant Bora and look at any candidate.
Hmm.
More than the party, it is the candidate.
Hmm.
Getting
Hmm.
it.
True.
Therefore,
True. True.
what you find that the BJP's consolidation in Assam 2016 onward has not been through BJP alone. It has been through defections from Congress. So
Hmm.
that has given added advantage to BJP, because most of the many legislators have come from the Congress, and Congress candidates had their own networks, inroads, contact with the people and also the resources.
Hmm.
And this exercise was particularly carried out or this whole enterprise or exercise were driven by Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. See it
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
2016 or 2021, any election you look at.
Hmm. Hmm.
Therefore, if, in these by-elections too, he had the advantage because he got three legislators defected or resigned.
Hmm.
Three legislators resigned, and then they had the advantage. One, Sushanta Borgohain or Rupjyoti Kurme, for that matter, Phoni Talukda, I will not be telling to that extent, but then look at Thaura and here, Morigaon, because
Moriones.
These two candidates, both of them have built up their own network.
Hmm.
It's not the party's network, it is the
Hmm.
candidate's network. Getting
Hmm.
it? So they could even defeat in the wave of 2021 elections. They could win the elections uh, more because of their own hard work, network, resources, contact with the people, and so on and so forth. In other words, the candidates had their own strong or solid vote base.
Hmm.
Getting it? Now they got, they resigned and joined in a new party, and that had given them additional advantages of getting votes from BJP.
Party cadre and then
Yes,
BJP is
party
already.
cadre, and
Hmm.
therefore these are two important factors we need to look at when we talk about the margin.
Yes.
Why they have got more margin than,
Hmm.
and the third, perception plays a very, very important role, and that perception has gone very strong and made many legislators very nervous. The perception is this, and that never happened earlier. If you are not a part of
Hmm.
the ruling of alliance or incumbent government, there is no guarantee that your constituency will do good. You'll get enough
Hmm.
patronage from the government.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
I think that perception is also there.
Hmm.
And that perception has been created none other than by the chief
Hemantala.
minister,
Hmm.
chief minister himself.
Hmm.
So this is, and it so if and the other factor, and which needs to be studied very, very critically and comprehensively, is that BJP in general never takes any election granted, even if they
Hmm.
think that they'll win the election, but they never take
Hmm.
the elections granted. And it is more true in case of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. He never takes any elections granted.
Hmm.
Therefore, you see the kind of mobilization. Whole
Hmm.
cabinet has gone down to every constituency, almost all
Hmm.
cabinet, all
Hmm.
party workers. And
Hmm.
it was, in terms of the intensity of the campaign, it was more than the general elections. If you
Yes.
look at the
Yes.
constituency level,
Yes.
because this is concentrated,
Hmm.
you know. Now the chief minister going to every constituency for 4 times, 5 towns, 5 times, even going to the panchayat level,
Hmm.
you know, that there lies the leadership and hard work of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. So,
Hmm.
I think these are very, very important factors. And look at the critics, for example. Now, what are the criticisms? Criticisms are that there has been a price rise, there
Hmm.
have been more taxes imposed on petrol,
Hmm.
diesel,
Hmm.
therefore there has been a price rise. But we need to understand that when the government is expanding its populist schemes,
Hmm.
you need to have more revenue, more resources. And where do you get the resources? Now this government, BJP government, has a very, 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 very calculated move in this regards. So
Hmm.
they have two allies. One is the top rich, and
Hmm.
the other is the downtrodden, poor people. And the taxes of any kind always
Middle
mostly
class.
harms the middle class.
Yeah.
Now, middle class is also the conscious section of the society, and they are the critic of the government. And if this BJP government has realized that these critics are not going to be sided with them,
Hmm.
except for a few who are also playing playing the role of doing the propaganda and all. But
Hmm.
then, more or less, middle class is bit annoyed with the government,
But
and
their votes don't matter much.
their votes. What will be the percentage of their
Yes.
votes?
Yes.
Now, if you calculate the families, around 52,000 families of 2 lakhs families or 56 lakh families have now been covered under various populist schemes, which is a huge one, isn't
Hmm.
it? So even if there are huge discontents and discontents in the media, social media, electronic and print media, now who are the critics? Critics
Hmm.
are particularly educated middle class,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they are critic because there have been lot of hardships because of the policies of the government.
Yes.
Now the for government, because it is the number, it's not about one's education, one's quality of
Hmm.
judgment
Hmm.
and all.
Hmm.
Ultimately, number
Hmm.
matters.
Yes.
And
Yes.
to create the number, you have created that huge basis of the populist schemes,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
can take them to be very stable wood base and all.
Hmm.
I think when you look at by-elections 2021, we need to take into account all these important dimensions. But then when I look at the critics here, they talk in terms of principles and ethics. For us, those are so important. But for electoral politics, particularly for BJP, that ethics and critical, ethics and moral principles in terms of price and other things have not been, and they don't give that much of weightage because they have the counter argument. Your ethics and principles are meant for yourselves, not for the poor people, and we stand for the poor people. Therefore, we have all these policies. Getting it? So I think all these have given advantages to them. And added to it, if you look at, because now the target is Upper Assam. Look at
Yes.
target is Upper Assam because of RSS and BJP's own network and all. They have done something a stable Budways among the tea tribes, which can counter, and that has been counterposed to the consolidation of East Bengal origin Muslim votes. Getting it? Means their whole campaign, the civilizational conflict theory has also been has also been working there. I think these are some of the important things which have favored the BJP. I'm talking in terms of here, Assam. And also if you look at Northeast India as a whole, because Hindutva's changing strategies have been to cope smaller and smallest ethnic components, which can work as ensure en masse voting, and they have done it well.
Could it be that say in say Nagaland, in Meghalaya, these regional parties are doing well and they are in power as well. So uh, they have realized that in order to be relevant, you have to align yourself with the dominant party which is ruling at the center.
No, yes. If you look at, and that's very important, and that's an important dimension. If you look at the ethnic politics in Northeast India, since early 1970s, you know, because the central government has a lot of schemes for Northeast India. You have the donor as a department, you have donor and NEC and all other things, and particularly the tribal states are very much dependent on the central government assistance and all. Even the smaller ethnic councils, Sikh you look at, or any other ethnic councils you look at, the political elites, the ruling elites of the ethnic groups in Northeast India mostly ally with the central government, irrespective of whichever political party is in power.
Yes.
Look at Ronus Pegu, look at Hagrama. Even Ronus Pegu, he was with Congress.
Yes.
Even though he didn't join and all, but then they enjoyed a good report. Look at Hagrama when Congress was in power, he was with Congress. When earlier NDA regime was there, he was with that NDA regime and got the accord signed. Then when it changed, he became a part of it. And then when he became very assertive, BJP could play with them and got the BTR and, got UPPL as a part of it. Therefore, if you look at any, regional, ethnic, look at NCP, for example, look at their own track record. They have been part of the UPA. They are, Conrad's sister was part of that ministry, UPA ministry then of this government and all. And that has been because of the whole structural dimension of our federalism, particularly structural dimension related to distribution of fund and so on and so forth of the central government towards the northeastern states. If things changes tomorrow and the Congress government is formed or Congress-led government is formed at the center, no guarantee. Because otherwise also except for us, yes.
These parties, they don't seem to have any particular like specific agenda as such. They just want to stay relevant and be in power, or at least be
Remember,
close to whichever party
yes,
is in
yes,
power.
the another point for the North tribal states in Northeast India, ideology doesn't matter much because even though they have the government has been talking about Hindutva,
Yes.
that Hindutva or the Orthodox Hindutva doesn't have any implication for them.
Yes.
You know, beef eating and other things are not, that much having not adverse impact on them. They don't have concentration of Muslim population there. There are lesser possibility of conflicts there. Getting it?
Mm.
So they cannot play the card of, Hindutva cannot play the
Mm.
card of, religious polarization there. Mostly the Christianity,
Mm.
and Christianity, otherwise a minority community. But then for the northeastern states, tribal states, Christianity is the majority,
Mm.
isn't it? Now
Mm.
they have allied with and they have not imposed the Orthodox Hindutva agenda there.
Mm. Mm.
So they don't have much issue with being part with central government, Congress or state or any regional formation for that matter, BJP and all.
Mm.
They want to be in harmony with the
Yes.
central government. Yes.
That is regional parties. More, for say from the BJP's point of view,
Mm-mm.
just to make inroads, because they can't play the Hindutva card, they can't play this threat of immigrant population overtaking the indigenous and all that in those states, smaller states. So their thing is, ki uh, we will try and adjust ourselves, and if we are not in power, means we are not the major party in the coalition, we will be happy with being a smaller part of the coalition rather than sitting in opposition. So BJP has also adjusted itself.
See their strategy. They are not telling that it will be BJP led government. They
Ha,
are telling Congress Mukti government.
ha, ha,
Their target is Congress. Their
ha,
target is not installing themselves as
ha,
the core party in power.
ha, ha.
So look at this strategy. They consider and that's the campaign logo
Hmm,
or
hmm,
campaign slogan, that we want a Congress Mukt, and to an extent Bidudi Mukt,
hmm,
opposition Mukt, India.
hmm,
And
hmm,
in Northeast India, they are talking about Congress Mukt. So
hmm,
any party, whichever comes to them, except for example, AIDF and all, they'll
hmm,
be happy.
hmm, hmm,
They'll be, and that has also been, remember, that has also been the changing political dynamics of RSS. Now they
hmm,
have also liberated themselves,
hmm,
to a great extent, even taking having inroads into the minority communities.
hmm, hmm,
And but the
hmm,
more other important thing that we need to keep in mind, what they aim at, bringing about transformation in the intellectual discourse, bringing about transformation in the educational discourse and all, which they want to do through the central legislations,
hmm,
more
hmm,
importantly. So they are, the kind of policies which will be, or the legislations which will be enacted by the central government will also be adopted by the state government, isn't
hmm,
it?
hmm,
So
hmm.
any number of legislators being elected from here, Northeast India, we have total 24. So that will add strength.
Hmm,
That will
hmm,
add strength to the capacity of the NDA in the central legislature, and that will help them to get their own kind of legislations passed there.
ah,
Therefore, Hindutva agenda at the micro level is very calculative in nature.
hmm,
They
hmm.
calculate in a very, very cunning way, very systematic way.
Calculative and adjustable as well. I mean, it can
Adjustable.
as
They have become
as
very
per the situation,
flexible.
you can
Yeah,
be flexible. Yes.
they have become, now BJP has become more flexible even than the other political parties in the country.
Yes.
So they can adapt and adjust
Hmm,
and adapt.
hmm,
And because the whole idea is to capture state power. And once you capture state power, you can, bring
Hmm.
in changes as required.
True.
Getting it?
Hmm.
So I think these are some of the important things that we need to keep in mind when we talk about BJP's electoral strategies in general and that of the, BJP's electoral strategies in Northeast India in particular.
Hmm.